This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Do you have a point of sale system you can trust, or is it a real POS? You need Shopify for retail. From accepting payments to managing inventory, Shopify POS has everything you need to sell in person. Go to shopify.com/system, all lowercase, to take your retail business to the next level today. That's shopify.com/system.
At Evernorth Health Services, we believe costs shouldn't get in the way of life-changing care, and we're doing everything in our power to make it possible. Behavioral health solutions that also keep your projections at their best? It's possible. Pharmacy benefits that benefit your bottom line? It's possible. Complex specialty care that cares about your ROI? It's possible. Because we're already doing it. All while saving businesses billions. That's Wonder made possible. Learn more at evernorth.com/wonder.
Savage Real talk, no filter on Savage Unfiltered. Savage.
Previously on Savage Cut.
And I've had to take the word sex out because apparently it offends people. So, but yet that's all you see online is sex content and all that. So, you know what? It's just hogwash. That's all it is.
I talk about what all has gone on in Canada, gone even worse, and people, despite our First Amendment protection here in the U.S., that's coming from Canada to the U.S. And bringing somebody in who will be ready to prosecute some of these people, because the current deep state people in charge of these departments and agencies, the Rainbow Alphabet Mafia allies, are too busy hunting down pronoun violators and imaginary insurrectionists to actually deal with fraudsters and real conspirators under the RICO Act and things of that nature.
Right. But I mean, again, Gitmo, you have to look at Gitmo as a federal penitentiary housing really, really bad criminals. So should we go to that avenue of possibly having some of these, politicians, mayors, governors, people that are responsible for it, including Anthony Fauci? I know that was a name brought up heavily on X this morning, as it is trending. Some of what we're talking about is trending on X. Anthony Fauci, a big name in the bunch.
Some of the polling recently shows that 3/4 of Republicans believe that he's being targeted for political reasons. Does it concern you that this public perception exists, and what can you do to try to change that?
Okay. Of course, it concerns me. What we have to do is show by the acts that we take that we're following the law, that we're following the facts. The prosecutions that you're talking about were brought last year, and the special prosecutor has said from the beginning that he thinks public interest requires a speedy trial, which I agree with.
You agree with that?
I do, and the matter is now in the hands of the trial judges to determine when the trials will take place.
The department has policies about steering clear of elections. Is there a date in your mind where it might be too late to bring these trials to fruition? Again, to stay out of the way of the elections, as the department policies.
Well, I just say, what I said, which is that the cases were brought last year. Prosecutor has urged speedy trials, with which I agree. And this is now in the hands of the judicial system, not in our hands.
Do you looking back now, do you think that the department took too long to bring these cases, maybe?
The special prosecutors followed the facts and the law. They brought cases when they thought they were...
But I'll take your word for it. But Merrick Garland is such a joke. All of a sudden, they're concerned about a speedy trial? Excuse me. The Constitution guarantees the accused the right to a speedy trial, not the government's ability to force someone into a speedy clown court, banana republic, railroad trial. Any other time, they're of course dragging things out. But now all...
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Do you have a point of sale system you can trust, or is it a real POS? You need Shopify for retail. From accepting payments to managing inventory, Shopify POS has everything you need to sell in person. Go to shopify.com/system, all lowercase, to take your retail business to the next level today. That's shopify.com/system.
Said, oh, we're concerned because we need to interfere with this election.
Tyrants, Joseph. Literally tyrants. That's what I call this episode. That's why we're doing 2 parts, guys, for the Savage Cut here. COVID, tyrants, and Gitmo. They all fit together perfectly because they did orchestrate COVID. They manipulated the hell out of COVID, and they're trying to do it again through this JN1 crap that just got released earlier this month of January that they're going to try to bring in. Now, that's not a conspiracy theory. That's all over the internet. That's all over social media. That's all over the general public with this JN1. They're going to try to manipulate it through the voting system. And guess what? That's what should have been asked to Merrick Garland. Are you concerned? Are you concerned for the general public with this JN1? And I would love to hear his views and thoughts on it, because they're the ones that are orchestrating this garbage. You know what I mean?
Now, I started saying last week about my friend Lisa Ewald, who died because of COVID, not from COVID. She had asthma. A lot of the people who died because COVID had other comorbidities that COVID caused complications to. She had asthma. She died in her sleep of pneumonia because her healthcare system refused to get her the hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin in time, and she developed pneumonia and died from pneumonia. Not COVID, but the COVID caused her problems.
But if I may ask, Joe, did they report it as a COVID death, or did they report it as a pneumonia death?
Of course. They manipulate the statistics. Anyone who had COVID, people who died of a heart attack,
that's sad.
If they had COVID, they were listing as COVID deaths so they could pad the numbers. And it's not me saying that. You could find doctors who are whistleblowers coming out now. You know, what are the people who do the
What's your views on that, Miss Liz?
Coroners who do the autopsies, admitting being pressured to list a death certificate as COVID, even though it had nothing to do with COVID.
Well, that's how they got their numbers, right? That's how they got it to make other people believe, oh my goodness, I'm going to die of COVID. I'm going to die of COVID. There was people dying of heart attack, like you said, Joseph. You know, there were people dying from other illnesses, but they put COVID on their death certificates. And there are whistleblowers in Canada as well, doctors and medical fields that actually stepped down because they were seeing the truth, and they were saying, like, look at, I worked for you for 20 years, but I'm not going to be a part of these lies. And they've actually stepped down, like nurses and doctors. My daughter's a nurse, and she's in another province because they're short on nurses, because a lot of people just left. They're done with the garbage. We're just like, no, we're out of here. You know, you're not listening to us. We're the ones working with it. We're the ones seeing it. And you guys are saying, no, just write this, just do this. I actually caught COVID in January last year, and I was in hospital twice from it. And they were trying to tell me that it was a heart attack I was having. And there was nothing wrong with my heart. And like I tell my kids all the time, my mom has to have a heart before I can have a heart attack. So That's not going to happen. Well,
and like
but
I was
saying,
No.
and I only had 2 jobs and the only reason that I got the job was because I wanted to have a life, and that was the only way I could travel was if I took the job. So I was forced to take it in order to do what I wanted to do in life. And did I like it? No. I was mad at myself, and I'm still mad at myself for having 2 shots.
Miss Liz, are these? Yeah, if I have to ask you something, are these doctors? Yeah.
like I was saying last week, this is not about medical care. It's about power and control, forcing you to comply. What happened, leftists, about my body, my choice? It's only a choice when you want to murder a child.
Are they being threatened with termination if they come forward? You know, maybe they're whistleblowers.
Yep. They are. They're absolutely, after even walked out of the hospital in front of everybody, and they make a scene out of it. It is disgusting how they treat the healthcare system. It's not about healthcare anymore.
It doesn't fit their agenda.
Correct.
No, it's about power.
It doesn't fit their
it's
agenda.
About
it does not fit their agenda. They need to. Yeah.
Power and control and money laundering. Follow the money. Who's getting rich off of it? By peddling this agenda. It's not about your health. It's about pushing drugs on you and prohibiting you from getting other drugs that actually work. I've got a supply of HCQS and ivermectin that I got from India when this all first started because they were preventing you from getting it from pharmacies in the U.S. So I got it from abroad because, yes, I had COVID twice, took the medications that I know work, and I'm alive. It didn't kill me. I have another friend, Bill Hartman, I was talking last week about remdesivir, who went into the hospital with COVID. They put him on remdesivir. It wasn't helping. The family found a doctor who would prescribe ivermectin, and he was getting better. But the hospital said, no, we're dismissing that doctor. We're putting him back on remdesivir because...
Why did they dismiss it, Joseph?
Why? They get more money for peddling remdesivir. And, of course... he was doing better.
I knew that, but I wanted your reaction to it. They were peddling the money through the COVID nonsense because they wanted to push it. They wanted to push it. Fear-mongering. Doctors were doing it too. Hospitals were doing it. Just like
in the hospital.
Fear-mongering. They're not doing it anymore because they're trying to orchestrate another plan.
Yeah, he relapsed. They put him on a ventilator. He died. He would be here today if they would have still continued to give him the ivermectin that was curing him. But no, it was all about power, control, and money laundering. His health didn't matter to them.
No, it's really sad how they treated humanity. It destroyed people. It divided families. Like people that were best friends days before, and all of a sudden they don't even talk to each other anymore. I have friends that hugged me one day, and the next day they were walking 10 feet away from me. I'm like, what the heck is wrong with you guys? Like, within 24 hours, you think that I'm some kind of prison?
I agree.
Like,